Deep inside America, past the highways, past the small towns, past the places people forget, there is a prison almost no one ever sees. A place built underground, behind layers of steel, silence, and secrets. A place where the doors don't slam, they echo. Where inmates don't just get locked up, they disappear into a system designed to keep the public blind. Most Americans don't know this prison exists. Even fewer know what happens inside. But today, you're going to step into that hidden world. The world where the most dangerous, unpredictable, and high-risk inmates are moved, watched, controlled, and stored like shadows that must never escape. You'll see how officers operate without names, how movement happens without sound, how inmates travel through tunnels and blackout routes that never appear on any map, and how the prison runs operations the outside world is never supposed to know about. This is not just a prison. This is a buried system, built to hide the people the country fears the most, and the secrets the system fears revealing. Welcome to the story the government never explains. Welcome to the place hidden under concrete, cameras, and decades of silence. Welcome to the prison buried behind bars. Before we begin, tap like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us uncover the darkest corners of the prison system. Now let's step inside. Hidden deep inside a remote corner of America sits a prison that almost feels like a rumor. People who live nearby may have heard strange stories, heavy trucks moving at night, helicopters flying without lights, or officers who never say where they work. But officially, nothing special exists here. On most maps, the area shows as empty land, old military property, or restricted zone. No signs, no public roads, no visitor center, just silence. This prison wasn't built to hold a large population. It wasn't made to run normal operations like yard time, visitation, education, or general housing. It was built with one job only: contain the inmates the system cannot risk losing control of. The ones who escape plans must never succeed, whose influence must never reach the outside world, and whose movement must always remain invisible. A facility designed backwards. Most prisons are designed from the ground up: walls, towers, gates, and fences. This one is the opposite. The real structure is underground. When you drive close to the region, you will only see a few small buildings, some radio towers, and what looks like ordinary government property. Nothing looks like a supermax. But that is the point. What the public sees is the shell. What exists below is the machine. Inside the ground are levels of corridors built with layered steel, shockproof doors, sensor-lined floors, and surveillance tunnels behind the walls. Every hallway has microphones that can hear even the sound of a heartbeat. Every door is controlled from a remote command center that no officer can access alone. This design wasn't made for comfort. It was made to erase chaos, to make sure even the most dangerous inmate cannot break the system for even 1 second. Who gets sent here? Only a very small number of inmates ever enter this prison. They don't come here as punishment. They come here because the system needs total control, full separation, and zero outside influence. These inmates include high-ranking gang leaders who continue running operations from inside normal prisons, inmates who attacked officers or tried to escape multiple times, federal-level suspects who can't be mixed with regular population, people involved in violent riots inside their old facility, individuals who require isolation for national security reasons, and inmates who hold too much power, information, or influence. When the prison system can't let someone disappear into a normal supermax like ADX Florence, they send them here instead. And once they arrive, the world forgets them. The arrival no one ever sees. No inmate arrives here through a normal bus gate or highway escort. Every transfer happens through a blackout route, often at night, sometimes through old military access roads that are no longer marked. Officers involved in the transport often work under coded names. Their uniforms show no badges. A typical transfer looks like this. The inmate is moved to an undisclosed holding site, not the actual prison yet. Their identity is temporarily removed from tracking systems to prevent leaks. 2 layered vehicles, usually a lead SUV and a secure transport van, move in low visibility. Communication during the drive is silent and pre-planned. The route changes every single time. The convoy enters the facility through a gate that looks like an abandoned supply building. The real entrance is underground, hidden inside a freight elevator. By the time the inmate reaches their cell, no civilian, no normal officer, and no outside agency can confirm exactly when they arrived. Everything is designed to leave no trail. A cell meant to break influence, not people. The cells here are not torture chambers. They follow federal standards. But they are built with one purpose: remove any chance of manipulation or influence. Each cell includes thick concrete walls reinforced with steel plates, a bed molded into the floor, a toilet that cannot be used to flood the room, a shower that runs on a timer, a window that is too narrow to see anything except light. No bars, only sealed steel doors with food slots. Lights controlled from the command center, not the inmate. A microphone embedded in the ceiling. Temperature that stays constant to prevent equipment damage. A door that requires 2 officers and 1 supervisor to open. Every sound, every movement, every word the inmate says is recorded and monitored in real time. This is not simply solitary confinement. It is total isolation inside a controlled environment, where the system never stops watching. Life inside the hidden prison. There is no yard time here. No group chow hall. No recreation room. No classes. No work assignments. Inmates live on a strict schedule, but not a busy one. Their world is reduced to 4 concrete walls, a steel door, and routines designed to keep the environment predictable and safe. A typical day looks like this. Morning lighting switches on automatically. Breakfast arrives through a small slot. Inmates shower alone, on a timed system. Medical checks are done through the door unless urgent. Legal visits, if approved, happen behind glass or video link. Movement between units is almost zero. Mail is scanned, copied, and filtered before delivery. Any item that could create a weapon is denied. Inmate conversations with staff are limited to essentials. Everything here is built on one idea: control the environment, control the inmate, control the risk. Even officers do not speak much inside the units. Most communication happens through hand signals. The prison is so quiet that inmates often describe it as hearing their own heartbeat louder than footsteps. Why so much secrecy? The prison's existence is not a mystery to the government. It is a tool, a silent tool. Its purpose is to handle the cases that other prisons cannot. And secrecy is important for several reasons. To prevent escape plans, to stop outside gangs from coordinating attacks, to protect officers' identities, to shield national security cases, to hide dangerous inmates from the public eye, to keep the high-risk operation running without interruption. This place is the last option before something worse happens. It is the system's insurance policy, a world the public never sees. If you drive past the region, you won't see flashing lights. You won't see guard towers. You won't see fences. All the danger, and all the power, is below your feet. This prison isn't meant to be known. It's meant to contain what the rest of the system cannot show. And once an inmate enters this place, their story changes forever. Inside most prisons in America, you can walk through the halls and see officers doing their jobs like normal people, wearing name tags, speaking with inmates, filling out paperwork, calling for assistance, or doing head counts. But inside this hidden facility, nothing works that way. Here, officers do not use their real identities. They do not introduce themselves. They do not say their names. Their uniforms carry no badge, no rank marker, and no indication of where they came from. They are shadows inside a shadow world. Why they stay anonymous? The reason is simple. The inmates here are not normal inmates. Many of them have long histories of influence, gang leadership, organized crime networks, violent followers, or deep connections inside the criminal world. If an officer's name leaked, their family, their home, or even their past could become targets. So the system removes that risk. Every officer inside uses a code number instead of a name, a voice filtered during radio communication, a masked identity on internal paperwork, an access card not linked to personal details, a rotation schedule that shifts them constantly. The inmate never learns who is watching them, and the public never learns who manages the prison. How they are selected. Working here is not a normal job. Officers are handpicked from federal, state, and sometimes military backgrounds. Before they enter this facility, they go through months of psychological checks, security interviews, background deep dives, and specialized training. The requirements are extremely strict. No history of misconduct. No known ties to local inmates. No social media leaks. No financial vulnerabilities. No criminal relatives. No disciplinary flags. High stress tolerance. Ability to remain silent and follow strict orders. Most people will never qualify. Those who do must agree to one thing. Their identity disappears the moment they enter the job. They sign confidentiality agreements that follow them for life. Some officers even describe the job as working behind a wall inside another wall. Training for extreme control. The training these officers receive is not the same as standard correctional training. It's designed for one purpose: controlling high-risk inmates who cannot be allowed even one mistake. Their training includes nonverbal communication, since talking can reveal personality; shadow movement, teaching officers to move quietly through corridors; two-officer extraction drills, for removing violent inmates safely; weapon-proof escort techniques, limiting inmate contact; environmental control, managing lights, doors, air systems; zero-talk discipline, to avoid giving inmates emotional leverage; emergency blackout procedures, where the entire prison can shut down in seconds. Officers here do not act like authority figures. They act like silent operators. Daily life for an officer. The day begins before sunrise. Officers enter a separate building far from the underground facility. They pass through 3 identity scramblers, devices that reset their access level, check for hidden electronics, and confirm they are not being tracked. Phones are banned. Smartwatches are banned. Metal objects are banned. Personal items are banned. Nothing leaves or enters the prison except officers and controlled tools. Once cleared, they receive their code number for the day. These numbers change constantly to prevent patterns or leaks. A code number might be 47C, 12N, 89R. No one calls them Officer Johnson or Officer Lee. Everyone is a number inside a system of numbers. Movement through the prison. Even for officers, moving inside this facility is strict. They cannot open doors themselves. Everything is controlled by the command center. No one roams freely. Every step is monitored by cameras, sensors, and pressure plates. If pressure patterns change even slightly, meaning if more or fewer people walk than expected, an alert is triggered. Officers move in pairs, never alone. No one speaks unless necessary. A typical movement looks like this. 2 officers approach the door. They stand silently on the pressure pad. The command center scans their code numbers. The door unlocks with a heavy sound. They enter the corridor and stand still until the next door opens. They move through one segment at a time, never rushing. It is slow, controlled, and carefully timed. The human barrier rule. Inside this prison, officers follow a strict method called the human barrier rule. It means the inmate never moves freely in open space. Officers position themselves in a triangular formation to block every angle of escape. This formation protects the officers, the inmate, the building's security. In normal prisons, officers might rely on shouting or physical presence to control behavior. Here, silence and positioning do the job. The inmate is always locked, always secured, always watched. Emotional distance. Unlike regular correctional officers, the personnel here never build personal connections with inmates. They do not joke with them, talk casually, or offer comfort. Every interaction is formal, short, and controlled. They use simple commands. Step back. Face the wall. Hands through the slot. Move forward. Nothing more. This emotional distance prevents manipulation, bargaining, and influence. Some inmates test the system, shouting, taunting, threatening, or trying to get reactions, but the officers never respond. The system is built on silence. The command center, the eyes of the prison. At the heart of the facility is a room no inmate will ever see, the command center. From here, a small group of highly trained officers controls the doors, the cameras, the air system, the lights, the microphone feed, the emergency lockdown system, the movement patterns, the unit rotations. The command center acts like the brain of the entire prison. Officers inside watch every cell 24/7, switching camera angles constantly. They can hear footsteps, breathing, and metal tapping from anywhere. Inside this hidden control room, no sound goes unnoticed. No movement is ignored. No risk is allowed to grow. The cost of working here. Working in this place is not easy. The silence, darkness, strict rules, and psychological pressure wear down even the strongest officers. Many stay only a few years before requesting transfer. They describe the job as like being inside a machine, a place where mistakes don't exist. Too quiet for too long. You feel the walls watching you. But without these officers, this prison could not exist. Their discipline is the only thing keeping the system stable. A workforce built on shadows. These officers are not known by the public. They are not praised or recognized. They return home every day with secrets they cannot explain. They are the invisible force behind the most hidden prison in America. The guards with no names, working inside a world buried from sight. When most people imagine a prison, they think of fences, towers, bright floodlights, and long rows of cells. But this hidden facility does not work like that. Its most important feature is not above the ground, it is under it. Beneath the quiet land, beneath the false buildings, beneath the empty parking lots, there is a maze of tunnels that form the true heart of the prison. These tunnels are not normal hallways. They are the spine of the entire operation, built to move inmates, officers, supplies, and information without being seen by the outside world. Everything the public thinks happens on the surface actually happens underground. Why the tunnels exist? The tunnels were built for one purpose: to make movement invisible. This is a place where the most dangerous inmates, leaders, planners, influencers, must be moved without giving them any chance to observe the layout, count officers, plan attacks, or communicate with anyone. Above-ground movement is risky. Below ground, the system is fully controlled. The tunnels solve several problems at once. They hide inmate movement. They stop outsiders from tracking operations. They protect officers during extraction. They isolate high-risk inmates from each other. They allow the prison to function even during emergencies or outside threats. This underground network is the reason the world barely knows this prison exists. A design with military precision. The tunnel system did not come from a normal prison blueprint. It came from old military engineering plans, originally meant for bunkers. Later, the government repurposed the design for extreme risk containment. The tunnels have shockproof steel walls, sensors built into the floor, motion detectors every few meters, silent air circulation, bullet-resistant glass observation points, automatic lighting that follows movement, emergency blast doors, escape-proof choke points, sound-absorbing materials that remove echoes. Walking inside these tunnels feels like stepping into a calm, cold, controlled world where nothing happens by accident. Every inch was designed to reduce surprise, prevent weapons, block communication, and eliminate the chance of escape. 3 levels of access. The tunnel network is divided into 3 separate levels, each with a different purpose. Level 1, operational corridors, officers only. These upper corridors are for officers, staff, and emergency teams. Inmates never come here. This level includes armory points, emergency supply stations, pressure-locked doors, ventilation control rooms, observation windows into the lower levels, rapid response routes used during lockdowns. Officers use Level 1 to move silently around the prison without being seen or heard by inmates. Level 2, movement routes, inmates under escort. This is where inmates move from cell to shower, from cell to medical, or to isolation rooms. Every route is broken into segments, short sections separated by sliding steel doors. This prevents inmates from rushing forward and forces them to move one step at a time. Each segment is monitored by multiple cameras, controlled from the command center. One direction only, clean and simple, with no objects on the walls. Wide enough for officers to maintain formation. Even when an inmate moves 40 feet, it feels like a highly controlled mission. Level 3, the deep line, transfers, blackout movements. This is the lowest level, where all sensitive operations take place. Here is where new inmates are brought in. High-risk prisoners are moved between units. Emergency extractions occur. Federal-level transfers are processed. Unknown cases are housed temporarily. No one except the highest cleared officers ever enters Level 3. It is the most silent, most secure part of the entire prison. The air feels heavier. The space feels colder. And the security is absolute. Lighting that thinks. The tunnel lighting is one of the most advanced features of the facility. Lights do not stay on all the time. Instead, They activate and deactivate based on pre-planned movement sequences. If an inmate is moving, only the next 10 meters light up. If officers are patrolling, the system brightens their route. All other areas remain dark. This prevents inmates from knowing the full layout. No one ever sees the whole tunnel system at once. No one can memorize it. Sensors everywhere. The tunnels contain multiple layers of hidden technology. Every step you take is measured. Every breath echoes into sensors. Every vibration is read by the system. These sensors detect footstep patterns, speed and direction, weight differences, metal objects, heartbeat speed during stress, heat signatures, movement behind walls. If something unusual happens, like a sudden stop, a sprint, or pressure changes, the system alerts the command center immediately. This allows officers to react before danger grows. The sound of the tunnels. Silence is a weapon inside this prison. The walls are designed to absorb sound so that no inmate can shout to another, and no noise travels further than a few steps. You can walk for 10 minutes and hear no echoes, no outside noise, no talking, no alarms, no footsteps except your own. Inmates often describe the tunnels as the quietest place on earth. Some say the silence is harder to deal with than confinement. Movement protocol. When an inmate must be moved, the tunnel system activates its strictest rules. A standard movement goes like this. Command center clears the route. Lights activate only in the first segment. Blast doors unlock one at a time. Officers take formation, triangle, or diamond shape. The inmate exits the cell in restraints. He enters the first tunnel segment. The door closes behind him. Only then does the next door open. The lights follow him forward, staying behind in darkness. Officers guide him step by step until arrival. This process stops speed, confusion, surprise attacks, and escape attempts. Why the tunnels matter. The tunnels are the reason this prison is considered buried behind bars. Without them, the facility would be visible, predictable, and vulnerable. With them, everything becomes hidden. Inmate movement, staff rotation, high-risk transfers, emergency operations, transport schedules, sensitive cases. Nothing leaks. Nothing becomes public. Nothing becomes predictable. These tunnels are not just hallways. They are the circulation system of a prison designed to run like a machine, not a traditional correctional facility. A world nobody visits. No journalist, visitor, or civilian will ever step inside these tunnels. No photo of them exists online. No blueprint can be found. No officer speaks about them after retirement. They are the secret arteries of America's most hidden prison. A world beneath the world, built for silence, control, and absolute security. In every prison system, inmate transfers are normal. Vans drive out during the day, officers follow known routes, and the movement can be seen by anyone standing on a highway. But inside this hidden facility, transfers happen in a completely different world, a world the public never sees and the government never explains. These are known as blackout transfers. A blackout transfer is not just a move from one place to another. It is a disappearance, a moment when an inmate is removed from the visible world and placed into a system designed to hide everything about their journey. Most prisons follow a clear chain of custody. This one removes the chain entirely, rebuilding it inside sealed walls and coded communication. It is the safest and most secret way the system can move a human being. Why blackout transfers exist. The inmates sent to this facility are not ordinary offenders. Many of them have high escape risk, violent records, strong gang ties, outside influence, sensitive cases, federal-level concerns. Moving them through normal roads would attract attention and create danger. Blackout transfers protect the inmate, the officers, the public, the prison. Ongoing investigations. Most importantly, they protect the secrecy of the facility. The vanishing point. A blackout transfer begins the moment the system decides an inmate is coming. The inmate does not get told. His family does not get told. Even officers from his old facility do not know the final location. Everything starts with something called the vanishing point. This is a temporary, quiet building located miles away from the real prison. It looks like an old warehouse, a maintenance building, a small federal storage site, a private utility station. Nothing about it suggests prison activity. Inside this building, the inmate is placed in a holding room. There are no markings, no signs, no logos. Just a door, 4 walls, and 2 silent officers. From this moment on, the inmate disappears from normal tracking systems. His status switches to in transfer, with no destination listed. The convoy that doesn't look like a convoy. Unlike typical prison transports that use large buses or bright vans with DOC logos, blackout transfers use ordinary-looking vehicles, but reinforced. The convoy usually contains a lead SUV, a transport van with sealed interior, a trailing SUV. None of these vehicles have markings. None of them reveal law enforcement presence. Their license plates come from non-government sources. Inside, however, each vehicle is reinforced with hidden steel, equipped with silent radio, protected with tire-safe inserts, monitored with live GPS feeds, separated into compartments, fitted with surveillance cams. To anyone driving past, this looks like a small group of friends or workers on a long trip. But every movement is controlled with military precision. No talking, no radios, no mistakes. The officers performing blackout transfers follow strict protocols. They cannot use phones, say names, say destinations, mention routes, speak casually, break formation, stop unless pre-planned. Communication happens with short-coded signals or silent hand gestures. Every route, in turn, has been decided hours earlier. The silence is not for drama. It is for safety. Talking reveals personality. Noise reveals stress. Words can be remembered. Silence removes all risk. Routes that are never the same. Blackout routes change every single time. They never use main highways, popular roads, areas with traffic, predictable paths. Instead, they choose rural detours, old maintenance roads, utility service paths, back entrances of federal land, abandoned industrial areas. Some routes even pass through locations that appear empty or unused, such as old military grounds. These areas provide natural cover because civilians rarely go there. Every transfer route is timed to avoid rush hour, public events, school zones, weather problems, satellite tracking patterns. The goal is simple: make the inmate untraceable. Arrival through a fake entrance. When the convoy reaches the facility, it does not drive into a gate with fences and towers. Instead, it enters a false building, the same one used during the inmate's initial arrival. To the outside world, this building looks abandoned. Inside, it contains a freight elevator connected to the prison's underground network. Once the vehicles enter, the outer doors close. The officers secure the perimeter. The elevator platform locks in place. The vehicles are lowered underground. This elevator is large enough to hold multiple vehicles, and once it descends, the entire prison becomes sealed off from the world above. The transfer tunnel. At the bottom level lies the deep line, the tunnel system used for the most sensitive movements. The inmate exits the van and is placed between 3 officers. This movement follows strict steps. The inmate stays fully restrained. Officers do not speak to him. Cameras track every angle. Each blast door opens only after the previous one seals. Lighting guides the escort slowly forward. The tunnel has no side rooms, no windows, no distractions. It is the safest route in the entire prison. Identity reset. When the inmate reaches processing, the system updates his profile. But unlike normal prisons, his new location is hidden, restricted, unlisted publicly, invisible to outside requests. Even many prison officials in other states cannot access the data. Only a small clearance group can see the inmate's true status. This final step completes the blackout transfer. The inmate has not only moved, he has disappeared into the facility's silence. What the inmate experiences. For the prisoner, the transfer feels like a dream without details. They see dark windows, empty roads, silent officers, narrow tunnels, bright lights, steel doors. There is no chance to speak, observe, guess location, or influence anything. Everything is stripped of meaning. The system is built so that even if an inmate escapes somehow, he would not know where he came from. Why blackout transfers matter. Blackout transfers are at the center of this hidden prison's identity. Without them, security cracks open, information leaks, outside gangs track movement, officials face risk, inmates plan escapes. The facility loses its secrecy. With them, the prison remains buried, not just physically, but in silence, confusion, and controlled darkness. This is how the system keeps the most dangerous individuals locked away inside a world almost no one knows exists. Life inside this hidden prison is unlike anything inside the normal correctional world. In regular prisons, inmates have routines, noise, movement, faces they recognize, and small pieces of life that feel human. But in this facility, the one buried beneath layers of concrete, tunnels, sensors, and silence, daily life feels like time has stopped. It is a place where nothing changes, nothing moves freely, and nothing happens without the system's permission. Here, the prison runs like a machine, and the people inside, inmates and officers, live inside that machine's unbroken rhythm. A day without time. In a normal prison, inmates know the time by the sun, the yard, or the activities. Here, the underground design removes those clues. The lights control everything. Morning begins when the lights rise. Night begins when the lights dim. Meals arrive at exact, unchanging hours. Movement follows strict sequences. Silence fills every space. There are no clocks in cells. No windows that show the outside world. No natural light. The inmate's sense of time slowly fades. Days blend together until yesterday and last month feel the same. This is not to punish them. It is to remove structure that could be exploited. Time becomes a controlled resource, just like air, light, and movement. Isolation that reshapes the mind. Each inmate is housed alone. Their cell doors are thick steel, and no sound escapes. They hear their breathing, their footsteps, their heartbeat, the soft hum of ventilation. Nothing else. Isolation like this is not about cruelty. It is about security. Many inmates sent here were able to command gangs, send orders, plan escapes, or manipulate people inside normal prisons. Here, isolation breaks communication. It removes influence. It stops power. Officers in this facility do not hold conversations. Medical staff give short instructions. Legal visits are silent through glass or video link. The inmate becomes completely separated from the world, a person alone inside a concrete shell. Meals through a slot. Food arrives 3 times a day through a stainless steel slot in the door. Officers never open the cell unless necessary. There are no shared chow halls, no group eating, no conversation. Every meal is quiet, quick, controlled. The slot opens, the tray enters, the slot closes. Even the food containers are chosen for safety. No metal, no sharp edges, nothing that can be shaped into a weapon. Showers and medical care. Showers happen inside special shower stalls built into the unit. When the inmate's shower time comes, lights activate in the hallway. Officers take formation. The inmate is restrained. Each tunnel segment opens one at a time. The inmate enters the stall. The shower runs on a timer. No privacy, but no danger either. Medical checks are simple and fast. Most are done at the cell door. Temperature, pulse, blood pressure, medication. Only emergencies allow the inmate to be moved to the medical room, and even then, the process is slow and fully controlled. The quiet discipline of officers. Working here is not loud or physically violent. It is mental endurance. Officers, walk quietly, use hand signals, move in formation, speak only when needed, maintain emotionless posture. They are trained to blend into the system. The prison runs on their silence. Many officers say the hardest part is not danger. It is the weight of constant control. There is no moment to relax, no break to laugh or talk, no shift that feels normal. They walk through a world that feels heavy, cold, and watchful. The command center never sleeps. Deep inside the prison is the command center, a room lit by screens. Officers watch every cell, every hallway, every tunnel, every movement, every heartbeat registered by sensors. They control door locks, airflow, lights, alarms, emergency responses. If a sensor detects stress, noise, vibration, or unusual heat, the system alerts them immediately. They see and hear everything. This constant surveillance is why the facility has never had an escape attempt, a riot, a hostage situation, a coordinated attack, a major disturbance. The prison works because the command center works. The inmates who become ghosts. Many inmates sent here were once loud, powerful, feared, or active inside the prison world. But here, they slowly disappear into silence. Some begin to pace for hours. Some stare at walls. Some sleep more than before. Some talk to themselves. Some fold paper scraps or make patterns with food trays. Some count their steps every day. This behavior is not madness. It is the human mind trying to stay alive inside extreme control. With nothing to do and no one to speak to, inmates create personal routines to survive each day. The system does monitor their mental health, but even that is done carefully. Too much contact breaks the design. Too little causes collapse. The prison walks a thin line between containment and basic stability. The rare cases that leave. Only a small number of inmates ever leave this facility. When they do, it's usually because their case changed, their influence decreased, their sentence shifted, their behavior stabilized, their security level was lowered. But even then, leaving this prison is not like leaving a normal one. Their departure is handled with the same blackout methods used during arrival. They vanish out of the facility the same way they entered it, quietly, slowly, and silently. Some are sent to other supermax units. Some are held in federal custody. Some go to medical centers. But almost none return to regular prison yards. A prison with no public story. The public never hears about this place. Families never tour it. News cameras never film it. Journalists never enter it. Politicians rarely speak about it. It exists behind layers of silence, denial, restricted records, hidden budgeting, classified operations. This prison does not tell stories. It erases them. A system built to hold what society can't handle. This facility is the last stop for the worst security threats in the correctional world. If a normal prison is a lock, and a supermax is a vault, then this place is the vault inside the vault. The final space where the system buries danger so deep that the world forgets it exists. Every tunnel, every officer, every sensor, every blackout transfer, every sealed cell. All of it exists to control people who cannot be controlled anywhere else. This is life inside America's most hidden prison, a world that stays buried under silence, steel, and shadows. The deeper you go into this prison, the more you understand why almost no one talks about it. Not because it's a myth, not because it's exaggerated, but because everything here is designed to stay hidden. The officers with no names. The tunnel system that controls every step. The blackout transfers that make inmates disappear from the world. The silent routines. The isolation. The layers of security buried beneath the earth. This isn't a prison built for punishment. It's a prison built for containment. A place where the system handles the people it cannot risk mishandling anywhere else. Most Americans will never know who lives here. Most officers will never step inside. Most maps will never show its true outline. But this facility shapes the correctional world quietly from the shadows. It is where the highest risk inmates go when every other option has failed, or when the system needs total control, far away from public eyes. In the end, this isn't just a hidden prison. It is a reminder that some parts of America's justice system operate underground, literally and figuratively. A world where silence is safety and secrecy is survival. Thank you for stepping inside the story. Most people never get even this close.